Hello everyone, welcome to Josue's Book Reviews 101. Today we will be talking about the book Peak, written by Rollin Smith. Here's a little background information about the book. Peak is the main character in the story. He is a 14-year-old kid that is an avid climber. He lives with his mother, stepfather, and stepsisters in the lovely city of New York. Peak is the type of person that always wants to be the best he can and also be the first to anything. One of his main goals is to be the youngest person to reach the summit of Mount Everest. He decides he needs to train a lot and hard for this to happen. This thought actually leads to the first important moment of the book. The first climb, moment number 1. Peak decided that if he wanted to have a chance on being the youngest to climb Mount Everest, he has to train in the hardest places. So he thinks it's a perfect idea and would be perfect practice to climb a skyscraper in a city. He does not tell anyone he's going to do this, but later on regrets it. The first 15 minutes of the climb, he felt really good about the climb. He was pretty sure he was going to finish it with ease. As he got closer to the top, he began to struggle. It began to rain and the wind started to pick up. He was struggling so much at one point that his face got stuck onto the wall. Luckily, some people at the bottom of the building noticed him and sent someone to pick him up. He got picked up by a helicopter. It happened to be that the mayor was at the same building that he was climbing and someone noticed Peak. This event led to the second important moment in the book. The second important event in the book that happened is that Peak got in trouble with the law when this happened. He ended up getting arrested because he trespassed, and it is a law that you must have a permit to climb mountains or buildings. Peak had to go to court and try to win his case. One of the options, he was going to spend 4 years in juvenile detention until he turned 18. The other option was that he had to move to Bangkok with his father. Peak has not seen his father since he was 8 years old. The judge and Peak's family decided it would be the best if Peak would move in with his father. The third most important event that happened in the book, Peak, is when he got to meet up with his dad again. Peak catches up with him and they have a good one-on-one conversation. Peak then learns that his dad is also an avid climber and has his own business. He actually named it after his son and is called Peak Experience. In moment number 4, Peak finds out they actually aren't going to Bangkok, but they are going to Mount Everest. Peak gets super excited about this, but then again, he gets pretty nervous. He got nervous because to climb Mount Everest, you need to have a permit unless you are from the area. If anybody were to tell the police, they would get in serious trouble, and Peak would get in double the trouble because he already got caught in New York. Another top 10 important event that happened was that when Peak arrived at Bangkok, he met up with someone around his age. His name was Joe. He was his dad's friend's son. They ended up training together and became really good friends. They later on went to go to the shopping mall and get all their equipment for the trip. Another important moment was he meets up with his dad Josh again at the base camp of Mount Everest. His dad is there with a group of climbers made up of friends around the area, some with a permit to climb and some without. When he meets the team, he recognizes a familiar face. It is the same reporter that did a report on him when he was in New York. It turns out she will be making the climb as well and is a really good friend of his dad. The 7th most important moment in my book would have to be when Peak travels to the base camp and finds out they're going to climb the mountain in the next day or 2. He struggled quite a bit getting to the base camp, but eventually got there. He did lose one of his closest friends that he made on the trip, but he still continued to pursue the trip and want to climb Mount Everest. Later on in the book, Peak finds out that son Joe's dad also died trying to save Peak's dad. They were all hurt and didn't know if they wanted to climb anymore, but eventually they decided they were going to do it for him. In moment 10, the last important moment of the book would be when they actually climbed Mount Everest. Son Joe and Peak ended up taking a harder way there. They faced plenty of challenges on the climb and also had life-threatening experience. Peak risked his life to save son Joe in one of the parts of the climb. When they made it to the top, Sunjo let Peak know that he was actually the younger one and not Peak. Peak was a little sad and heartbroken, but he got over it. Peak then traveled back to the United States for his sister's birthday as a surprise gift. The book ended by Peak turning in this story to the teacher, and the teacher began reading it to the class. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoy the top 10 minutes.